Attention! Here is something big banks don't want you to know about your IRA or 401k. You can store your retirement savings where you can actually see, touch, and hold it in your hands. With a Paradigm Gold or Silver IRA, you can transfer a portion of your savings to physical gold and silver coin and store them where you can see them. The stock market is close to its all-time high, and your retirement might be at risk again. But you can trust Paradigm Gold Group to help.
Call 800-417-3932. 800-417-3932.
Paradigm Gold Group is a gold IRA leader, rated A+ by the Better Business Bureau, where gold and silver has been in the family business for over 40 years. Call for your free guide to Paradigm's Gold IRA. Protect your retirement savings today with Paradigm.
Call 800-417-3932. 800-417-3932.
The Turnpike Sports Book Report.
The Turnpike Sports Book Report is brought to you by BorgataSports.com. Your favorite casinos now, your favorite sports book available anywhere in New Jersey, BorgataSports.com. Sign up at BorgataSports.com using our promo code PIKE, that's P-I-K-E, and you get a risk-free bet up to $300 and 20 bonus dollars at BorgataCasino.com. Must be 21 years or older and in New Jersey to place a bet. Terms and conditions apply. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
And welcome to the weekly Turnpike Sports Book Report, where we discuss the state and national reports on the sports betting industry, the launches that occur across the country as well as in Canada. We also discuss the latest updates in the legislative area, and also we discuss the multiple deals that always occur in the sports betting industry in this country, in this continent, as well as overseas. Well, this week we're going to start off by talking about some little commercial gaming sector overall, not just sports betting, but also iGaming, the casinos, the commercial casinos, as well as the sports betting numbers. But according to
gambling is having an amazing year right now in terms of revenue and in terms of handle when you're talking about sports betting. But just across the board, casinos, sports betting, it's been a great year.
Well, the one thing I noticed, and everyone is talking about a recovery. But it's even more than that, because everything you compare, not just last year's numbers to last year's numbers, but if you go back to 2019, you're approaching bettering those numbers as well. So I don't know if it's a resurgence or it's just, I think maybe there's
everyone's all pent up.
I just think there may be some changing attitudes toward gambling too. I mean, everyone's getting used to it. It's become part and parcel. There, a lot of people more accepting of gambling too, I think.
Sure. I mean, look, everyone's getting out of the house. Everyone's seeing gambling on TV. It's being incorporated into sporting events. I mean, everyone's talking about it. Here in the Northeast, we have a ton of television shows about gambling. So,
and we're going to have more
probably more. And it's been great.
Well, according to the American Gaming Association, commercial gaming revenue hit an all-time quarterly high this past third quarter in 2021, $13.89 billion. That's 2 quarters in a row of record commercial gaming revenue. That's an incredible
Absolutely.
feat.
It's great.
And I wouldn't be surprised if this fourth quarter in 2021 has a record as well. The way everything's moving along, more states are launching sports betting. More states, I actually noticed, are launching iGaming.
Yeah, which is great.
Which is it's actually becoming a really perfect storm as well, because a lot of states do not have iGaming.
Sure.
And as a matter of fact, with sports betting, some of them are even talking about expanding to mobile betting, which, a couple states in the South that we can talk about too later on. But you're starting to see an expansion of gaming within states that already have gaming.
That you mentioned iGaming. The one great thing about iGaming is not a lot of people realize is that these iGaming platforms are licensed through the casinos, which means, hey, you know what? Player points are involved. You know what? You get comped for playing online. Your comp points rise when you go to the casino. So actually, iGaming actually makes your live experience at a casino cheaper. Well, because you have comp points to spend.
I think you just hit on something that affects the sports betting markets too, because a lot of the sports books are now incorporating the casino loyalty cards, the rewards program.
Yeah, a couple. Yeah,
Caesars just started doing it into their sports book.
Sure.
Bet MGM now has that as well. And it's one of those things.
Atlantic
They had them in
City.
the casinos, but they did not have them in the sports books until just recently.
One place in Atlantic City, it changed hands by now, so I don't want to say what name it is. But I did my Players Club when I placed my bet at the window at the sports book. So that was great.
Yep. Now you don't have to do that. You can just do it on their app.
Yeah.
Sports betting revenue, according to the American Gaming Association, hit $886.5 million in the third quarter. Sports revenue over the first 9 months posted a $2.74 billion mark. That's over 300% more than what at this point last year.
Mm-hmm.
So, again, you're comparing pandemic year to this year. Maybe that number's a little inflated. I think really you got to compare it to 2019 to get a better feel for it. But I think there's also a psychological factor here, too, when you report these numbers and you compare it to the down year. Yeah. And I think that's a good thing. Before we get into some of the state numbers here in terms of post-PASPA numbers, benchmarks that were hit, I wanted to hit on Oregon. We talked about Oregon last week.
Yeah.
And have some additional numbers here. It's kind of interesting to see what happened in Oregon. They had a decrease in registrations month to month these last 2 months from September to October, but the number of bets increased 47%. Less people, more betting.
Wait.
Or maybe it's customer retention.
Well, that's what I'm thinking about. So many people signed up early on that you're going to see less people signing up because most people who signed up early on. So I'm putting a positive spin on that, by the way.
Well, I think what we both
I'm being a marketing guy for them, yeah.
What we both just said is reflected in this number. The number of active players, these are not the registered players, but the active players, increased month on month and year on year.
Okay.
They have 27,781 active players in October. So the active players have increased, even though the new registrations have slowed down a little bit. Mm-hmm. And I think that's going to change, too, once DraftKings comes in, because they're going to be taking over from Intralot at some point.
Okay.
So we'll see what happens there. And, of course, I have to hit your favorite sport, table tennis.
Yeah, table tennis.
Did not make the top 6 this past month.
Yeah, it was holding steady at number 6 most sport bet.
In terms of handle.
In terms of handle. So
well,
Oregon and Colorado are big on table tennis for God knows what
It dropped
reason.
down a little bit.
Okay.
It went to 7th. 18,854 bets, a handle of $1.342 million. And here you go. 777 players bet on table tennis in the month of October. The average bet went up $71 on table tennis. I don't understand the sport enough to do a $70 bet on a table tennis
Look,
match.
Obviously people like it, number one. Number two, they're making money off it because they understand the sport. They do their research. They do their analysis. And you know what? They do well in table tennis, so it's bet. So good for them. I don't understand table tennis. I don't know the players. I don't know the teams. If there are teams, I don't know. But no, good for them. If they want to bet table tennis and they make some money, good.
Well, we're moving on to a national side of things here. Right now, we have some of the sports books reporting their October numbers. Illinois reported their September numbers just very recently. We talked about that as well. The all-time national post-PASPA handle currently, and this is going to change by the time this airs because there's going to be more states reporting too as well. We still have Arizona we're waiting on too. Mm-hmm. The post-PASPA handle all-time is now over $75 billion.
This is from, what was it, May of
2018.
Yeah, okay. So it's $75 billion.
Yes,
wow.
yes.
Okay.
With their October sports betting report, Indiana is now the 5th state in the country to clear $5 billion in post-PASPA handle.
Wow, Indiana, huh?
They joined Nevada, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and Illinois. They're the only 5 states in the country to clear $5 billion in handle since PASPA was repealed. Illinois is now the 4th state to clear $6 billion in total handle since their market launch.
Okay.
Only 3 other states, since they're 4th, New Jersey, Nevada, Pennsylvania. All 4 of those states are the only ones in the country to clear $6 billion in total handle.
Okay.
So we have a $5 billion mark. We have a $6 billion mark just recently set, which is another indication of a growing industry here.
Absolutely.
But again, as a lot of people will point out, the handle is a great number to report on. It's a great number to discuss. You got to look at the revenue figures for each state, and we'll do that at some other point. They're also listed on the print version of the book report on our blog, too, as well.
Okay.
We had New York, finally.
Yay, New York, huh?
Giving out some permissions to, or licenses to sports betting operators. Again, one was actually both were super bids. The 2 super bids got them. One group was DraftKings, BetMGM, Bally's, Ballybet, really, and FanDuel. The other group was Caesars, Wynn, PointsBet, Rush Street, and Genting. I said it right this time.
Yep.
And that was headed by Canby, and that was the group that also has the deals with the sports teams as well, and also the Yes Network, which is going to be actually kind of fun to. I can't wait to see what the Yes Network. I have to admit, I love Yes Network's programming.
Yeah, no, it's great. It's interesting with the Yes Network. I can't wait to see how they do it. But another New York local sports station is really doing up the betting program. MSG is really they have a ton of betting shows all of a sudden. Every night there's a betting show.
Well, since you just mentioned MSG, they are in the news in terms of a deal, so I'll just skip ahead a little bit.
Yeah, BetMGM,
we'll go back to
right?
a couple other things.
Okay,
but after the New York operators were announced, 9 of them, BetMGM and MSG entered into a partnership, a marketing partnership. Not just MSG as in the physical arena, but the MSG company, which not only does the arena, they do the Rangers, the Knicks, they do the MSG network.
Yes.
So
I enjoy the MSG network. I like it.
I like it.
I watch it every night because, like I said, they always have betting shows on, and there seems to be a new one every week. So I'm trying to think of
some are questionable.
Yeah, some are, but it's interesting. Let me tell you, information is king when it comes to betting, and if I get information from all different sources, that's a good thing.
Well, as I said in the rundown of the Turnpike Sports episode coming up this week, and people will hear that, the BetMGM MSG deal has for me, I don't know. If I'm wrong, please tell me, the first Zamboni deal, which is actually pretty cool.
I see a lot of sports betting advertisements on hockey and basketball games and baseball games. You see it on the walls and things like that, and certainly you see it around the stadiums and football games. So I'm trying to think if I've ever seen a Zamboni with a gambling emblem on it, but I'll rack my brain and try and think of one.
Well, for Rangers games, you're going to see it on the Zamboni as well as on the boards and the ice and all that stuff, and also on the broadcast itself. For Knicks games, you're going to see it on the floor, the thing in front of the sideline clocks and all that stuff, and also now on what they call the basket stanchion.
Okay.
The stand that holds the basket.
Now, will it be on the actual stand that you see? Because I've seen these overhead shots looking down on the basket, and they have either a website on the top of the basket or the backboard, or they have like an advertisement. Is it going to be there, or is it actually going to be on the bottom portion of the
no
net?
Word on where it's going to be
Okay.
yet. Also, there's possibility of having some digital stuff on the
digital
stanchions.
stuff
On the
hockey,
stanchions.
my God, digital things are everywhere.
Well, that's with the broadcast crews.
Yeah.
That's where you see the things on the ice. There's nothing really on the ice except a logo here and there at center ice and maybe one or two others, but most of that stuff's digital. A lot of people don't even realize
a lot of the digital
that's
ones are behind the nets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sort of like what they do in baseball, behind the batters or green
yeah,
screens.
yeah.
So that's all digital stuff there, too. Staying with a couple of the deals here, Betway, which has been making deals everywhere. Betway announced a deal with the NHL's Philadelphia Flyers, since we're talking hockey anyway. We just talked
Great.
Ranger stuff there. Betway is now the sports betting operator and official partner of the franchise.
Wow.
You're also going to see Betway's branding on the ice, on the boards, as well as Flyers' social media. And it's kind of interesting because the Flyers, I took a look at their their social media standings and everything. The Flyers are the first in the league in Twitter engagements.
Oh, okay.
And first in Twitter social value.
Okay.
So that's kind of a unique.
I follow the Flyers, and they got Gritty all over it. The mascot. So maybe Gritty had something to do with it.
Maybe
He's very,
not.
very
I don't
popular
know.
here in the Northeast.
One big deal to talk about. Well, I can't say big, unique deal. Let me put it that way. Caesar Sports has done a deal with the Mannings.
Well, that's a big deal. I mean, I don't want to
say. I meant unique.
Oh, unique.
Yes.
Okay.
Because there's never been a family that's done a sports betting deal.
Yeah, apparently it's just not Peyton and Eli. It includes
It's Peyton, Eli, Archie, Cooper.
Yep.
But
Cooper had his own show or a segment on the show or something like that. I forgot what he did. It was he's very good, by the way. I think Cooper's one of the best, better than Peyton and Eli, by the way.
Well, I've seen the Manning cast for Monday Night Football.
Yeah,
it's interesting. It's a different way.
I'm
of doing
hearing there's some kind of curse attached to it.
Yeah,
because,
I saw that.
Josh Allen appeared on it, and apparently, I guess quarterbacks who appear on it. I could be wrong. I got to check it out, but quarterbacks who appear on it are 0-6 the next week.
It's almost like that Madden cover curse, where the next season that person on the cover gets injured.
Sports love curses, don't they?
The
Curse of the Bambino and the superstitions, and this is ridiculous, man.
But it's
but it does explain the Bills losing to Jacksonville. So it's a convenient excuse.
Well, it's fun to actually have that hanging over your head when you're placing a bet on the team the next week. So it's something to keep in the back of your head when you're betting. I don't know if it actually holds water anymore, but we'll see what happens. I don't know who's up next though. So for Monday night, but Caesar, I did not know when I read some of the articles about this that the Mannings had a sports bar in the Caesars property in New Orleans.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, no, I didn't know they had one either.
I never knew they were involved in the bar side of everything either, but that makes perfect sense. They already are in there.
I mean, they already have a relationship with Caesar, so, it makes sense for Caesars to jump on board.
And I would assume, considering Archie Manning and the Mannings were such a big component in Louisiana. I think the only person just as big as them in that state is Drew Brees.
Yeah. I used to love watching Archie Manning play in the Saints. He was really, he was. I wouldn't call him a mobile quarterback, but it was so much fun when he got into trouble when he started running around. I mean, they have one of the amazing. Go to the old NFL films. He was fun to watch.
Well, him and Fran Tarkenton were always fun to watch back there. Yeah. So, but I wonder if they're going to do one in Indiana too, because there's a Caesars property there. There's a Caesars sportsbook there.
Yeah. Peyton, played with the Colts.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
so, Baltimore should be a good place too. But I don't think was he there when they were Baltimore coach?
No.
Colts. Speaking of Louisiana, let's stay there. I was so dead wrong about this state because I kept hearing November 1st launch for the industry. And all the articles I've been reading, all the reports from the Division of Gaming down there in Louisiana said, read to me like they weren't going to make that November 1st deadline that they set for themselves for launch. And here we are. There's 8 sports books, retail sports books that have launched in the state already.
Yeah, no, they opened up.
What are we, halfway through November?
They opened up in a big way. I mean, a lot of these places, the properties are ready to go with sports betting. One thing I was struck by when visiting the Everett Casino in Massachusetts.
Encore
Boston Harbor. Yeah, they had the windows ready.
Yeah.
All the state legislator had to do was pass it, and they'd have people taking bets on property relatively quickly because they're all there. It's all set up for it. So I'm assuming Louisiana was like that too. I mean, all they had to do was get the okay from the state government, and they jumped on it, and good for them.
Well, they actually have a couple of the retail books as temporary books, and they're building the permanent ones.
But the point is, they were ready.
They were ready.
They were all ready and set, and all they had to do is get the okay, and they started taking bets. Good for them.
The one thing I have noticed in the U.S. industry, as more and more states come online, the launch times needed are becoming shorter and shorter and shorter.
Well, yeah, I mean, sportsbook operators know what they're doing because they've been doing it for years in other states. So, they have the model, they have the business plan, they have the technology ready. So all they have to do is get the okay from the state, and they're all ready.
Well, we're going to stay in the South. We're going to go to Mississippi for some legislation before we go on to a couple other deals. Mississippi is now looking at introducing a mobile sports betting bill.
Good.
It's kind of funny to see this because it's the one state that has held out so long since the launch of their industry to do mobile betting.
Well, look, they can look at the numbers in other states of what mobile is doing, and, certainly, they'll make out really well because every state makes out really well in mobile sports betting.
Well, what's actually fun to watch here in Mississippi is BetMGM already has a foothold for mobile betting.
Great. Yeah.
They launched their app inside the Beau Rivage Casino in Mississippi. You have to be inside Beau Rivage property. I don't know how far that extends. I mean, parking lot?
I have no idea.
I have to see the geofencing for that one.
Yeah.
But,
boy, that's an interesting thing. Can you walk outside the proper? Well, can you walk outside the building and do something on the? If you're doing something like that, I guess you'd want people walking in your doors to place the bet. So, but I'm not. That's an interesting question. Can you walk outside in the parking lot and place a bet?
Because I remember during the pandemic in Vegas, when the casinos were shut down, people were in the parking lots signing up for online sports books there.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if the geofencing extends to the outside of the property a little bit. But again, maybe by January 1st, the bill will be introduced, and we'll see exactly how long it takes for them to launch their mobile betting industry. I think that would be kind of an interesting state to watch. I don't know if it's going to be as fun to watch as Louisiana has been, but it'll be kind of interesting to see exactly where that goes. I actually came across, before we started taping this morning, a story about Massachusetts now.
What's going on with Massachusetts?
According to Senator Lesser, who is one of the proponents of sports betting, he's got one of the bills.
Mm-hmm.
They are close to passing.
Well,
I mean, that's his opinion.
That's his opinion. Okay, well, we'll see.
The state's legislative year ends November 26th, and according to Lesser and a few other the members of the legislature, there's only one issue separating everybody, and it's college sports. Lesser's bill prohibits any betting on college sports.
Any college sports.
Sports.
Okay. Wow.
And the other bill allows betting on college sports and college athletics, but no player parlays. Nothing on the player itself.
Okay,
you can bet on the teams.
A lot of states have that.
Which is actually a good compromise.
Yeah. I wish New Jersey had that. That'd be great.
I just thought that was the best way to approach college sports, but I guess they don't want to do that. But we'll see. Also, we have Pennsylvania, and we'll probably end on this story here because we have run out of time for this week. Just a heads up. Pennsylvania Gaming Control Board has approved a plan by Greenwood Gaming, Parks.
Sure.
To open a betting operation in the new Chickies and Pete's restaurant in East Whiteland Township.
Wow, great. I have no idea where that is in Pennsylvania, but that's great.
Malvern. It's a western area, where the mini casino is they're building.
Mm-hmm.
So they're going to have a sportsbook and an OTB.
See, that'd be great. I love Chickies and Pete's because they're like a local chain here in New Jersey and Pennsylvania.
Well, this is in Chester County.
Okay.
So Harris, Philly.
Great.
Which is in Chester County as well.
Go get some crab fries and place some bets.
And that's it for this week's book report. As always, you'll see a print version of the book report on our blogs, turnpikesportsradio.com. Click on the blog. Any news and business updates regarding the sports betting industry, send them over to info@turnpikesportsradio.com.
That'll do it for us this week. We'll see you next time on the Turnpike.